I get feedback from people, and I think there's an importance in not overvaluing people's love for you and stuff like that, because I think if you overvalue that, when the haters come in, you can overvalue that.
All right, welcome back to the Aussie Ambitions podcast. We have a guest for you today, which I think you're very much going to enjoy. It's an unusual situation where we spotted somebody driving around the Gold Coast in a car wrapped in Christmas paper. And that stood out in my mind as somebody that's having a go, making a little, making waves, and hopefully, I'm pretty sure making a lot of people smile. So, and we got in touch with him, and he's here today. His name's James Longstaff. How you doing, James?
I'm doing good. This is great.
Super cool to have you drop in and spend some time with us today. So as I just shared, we noticed you, and we didn't see you personally. We saw your car, and it just had an Instagram tag on the back, and we looked you up, and we just wanted to hear what that is all about. And we'll make sure that everyone can get in touch to get a visual on that. But if you can imagine, it's a BMW Z4?
Z4, yes.
Convertible.
One of the first ones that came out. It's a 2003.
And it was entirely wrapped in Christmas paper, but like patchwork, so different styles, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there was not a spare square of space. It was wrapped, and there was presents on the back, and even there was string lights. I didn't even notice the string lights until we actually got a ride in it. But anyways, high five. Impressive.
Thank you so much.
And obviously just want to hear, putting that effort in, what is that all about?
Well, I mean, I did it last year. And kind of just really more or less did it as for fun. I did see little glimpses of like people putting tinsel on their car or something like that. And I just decided to go, I guess, pretty much like next level. I'm going to wrap my car. And I just did that. I kind of did it for fun and went around the streets, and I only did it for the week of Christmas last year. And it didn't really last too long. There was a lot of rain about the time as well, so I couldn't really go out and everything. But this year, I decided there was a lot of people that were interested in it, both on my on my social media followings and stuff like that, and people in the street. So I decided to do it again this year to make people smile and everything like that. It's a really cool getting all the feedback. So yeah.
Cool. So it's obviously the time of year, like December, heading into Christmas, pretty close now. How long has it been on the road?
With the Christmas wrap?
Right.
Yeah. It was like I decided December 1st. I think, if you start, I guess, the start of November, I think there's some people that like to start the Christmas stuff at November, but I think it was more appropriate to do it on the day of December. So, yeah, I just decided to do it then. And, that's how long it's been out. So we've actually added a few things over time. First it was just the wrap, and then about half a week later was the presents, and then the lights went on, and then actually now we've got like a little elf on the shelf sitting just below the exhaust, so on the tailpipe. So I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Mate, it looked great, and I noticed a lot of people paying attention to it when we saw it. And where do you go from here? Like, obviously, do you find people are checking out the Instagram because it's on the back?
Yes, I do have a few people checking it out. A couple of people would put the story, tag me into the story and stuff like that. A couple of people follow me and stuff like that. I've actually also been able to connect with an old friend that I lost connection with around my high school years. And then they came back and purely because they saw it in the street, and they went up to see it, and then they realized it was me. Then they added me, and then we actually got connected, and we went out for lunch, and all called out. So it was kind of crazy. But yeah.
Okay. Because my impression when I saw it was, again, we're really just keeping a keen eye about social media, but in the real world, in a sense of are there people making efforts to generate viral content, or, you see a lot of people online and what they've done, but you don't often catch someone in the real world filming it or doing a session, or, we're in the studio now, so it's, you're sitting down and it's behind closed doors. Nobody knows where we are. But was that a purposeful like thing, saying I'm going to do this and I want to get it out there on social media? Is that important?
Yes. I think particularly this year, I definitely really wanted to try and really distribute it out to the world a whole lot more. That's why I did it a bit earlier than last year, because last year was just a bit of fun, and then I didn't realize that I could actually use that as a bit of a way to kind of get my name out there, and with all the stuff that I want to do in the future and stuff like that, just kind of go, oh, that's James Longstaff just doing his thing again, that's kind of what I decided to do for that reason. Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, that's, if you can imagine the people that would be listening and following along, there's going to be a lot of people that aspire to, generate and be, whether it's just fame or have lots of followers or just make a career out of the social media. And obviously it's fun. It's fun to watch people, and it's like, oh yeah, is that all there is to it? I can do that. But then I think there's a question of maybe there's more to it than that. And a lot of people try it and then burn out, and they might do it once and then never again. So where are you sitting in the content creation game? Do you consider yourself a content creator?
In pretty much in some sense, I think, I would say that I'm a content creator. I'm pretty much on most platforms, or all the major platforms out there, and I'm creating content on all of those, and stuff like that. So I decided that I was going to start making videos and stuff like that, and it was a little bit difficult to get in front of the camera at the first time, like hearing your voice, things like that, and just also feeling kind of like, oh, like what if my family sees me on the internet like this and everything like that? It can be quite confronting. And so I guess what I started with was I actually, which some people don't do, but I decided to do for myself, I actually opened up a second account and decided to just be myself. And I think that's a big thing that I would try and tell everybody is try and not copy somebody, because obviously we can learn from people and the success out of people on social media, but a lot of what they did and the reason why they got successful is because of they were just themselves, and they were just they were having fun with it and everything like that. They were pretty much out there to, obviously there's struggles with it, but they loved it in a sense where they're happy to push through all those different struggles with being a content creator.
Yep. I think there's some really interesting things about maybe what tools you use. You talked about getting in front of the camera and like the skills. Is there a go-to spot for, I guess, getting up to speed quickly? So you wanted to, let's just start. How long ago did you start creating content?
It was about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I remember me and my family were actually at Tangalooma, and I decided to make this first video on my new social media platform and everything like that. And I basically just said a bunch of stuff, like it was a minute video for Instagram, and it took me 30 minutes, so many tries walking up and down the beach, and just kind of scared about like having a camera up in front of your face and people walking by, walking down the beach as well, watching you and stuff like that. I haven't gone as comfortable with having a camera in front of my face and like going down Surfers Paradise and just talking to a camera like that. I haven't got that much confidence yet, but still able to talk to a camera and being able to speak well and stuff like that. So I think it's just, how do people get out there? I just recommend just pretty much like to do it quickly is to get out there and just start. Yes, you can try and get confident by getting some teacher to help you and things like that. But I think, I think accountability is also very important. So even just telling your friends, this is something I really want to do, and then having them support you is really powerful as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting connection to some of the other guests that we've got coming through, which is just around like priorities. So you have lived your life up to this point, X number of years. You would have had some experience. You've done some schooling, and now it's like the real world. And like, are you in charge of your daily schedule? You decide what you do when you do it, or?
Yeah, I am actually very, very fortunate as being in a job industry where I do have a lot of flexible time, and I'm able to move my hours that I work pretty flexible, pretty flexible wise. So it's able for me to go to certain events if I need to, and take those certain times off. Like even coming here on a weekday, I'm able to come here and do this kinds of stuff. So that's that I'm very in a big fortunate position with that. But you've seen some people where they are able to just do the simple things that they love during the day and just record it and film it. They show something a little bit unique, and they're able to actually get a certain amount of success out of it because they're just showing really valuable and decent content that people enjoy watching. Whether if that just be sitting on your couch late at night doing something random, whatever it is, there's going to be people out there that are going to enjoy that unique side that you have to offer.
Yeah, that's really cool to share that. I think obviously being in Australia, the rest of the world does some things the same and some things quite differently, and there's different platforms that are blowing up. And I mean, so what's your, let's call it a social media stack? What are you loving? Where do you put your time and effort?
At the moment, I really enjoy doing TikToks. I think that platform at the moment, in 2020 at least anyway, it's been a platform where it's very easy and quick to make. I think we're able to have access to all the popular songs that we like, and we're able to put that in without copyright issues or anything like that as well. So it's very, very awesome having a platform like TikTok that really you can edit, like anybody can really edit a TikTok and produce that without needing an editor or something like that, or somebody that knows certain audios that isn't going to get copyrighted or something like that. It's just a really good platform for that. Really, I think if somebody's wanting to just start up, it's really good. Also, if that is a valuable piece of content, that'll be shown to people on the For You page and stuff like that. So I think your overall reach can be very, you got a lot of reach with that. But obviously you need to create a valuable, unique piece of content with that.
Yeah. So that's great because it's a tool, and it's kind of emerged here. I'd say fairly quickly. Obviously the TikTok's had its own journey, and I think it's Chinese owned, and there's some controversy around that. So we'll see what happens next. But was there, was it a shift where you're like, all right, I'm going to maybe slow down on the Instagram stuff and then just go more on TikTok and just kind of go with it? Or was it just kind of whatever felt right?
I really do enjoy vlogging. Just talking to a camera, I think it just instantly makes me a lot more happier. The only issue with that is I just struggle with editing. I really, and so I think that's I'm happy to just vlog 24/7, but with the whole editing thing, so that's where I find it a little bit difficult. And the thing is, what I found is you can also do a little partial vlog on TikTok. You can just kind of film a bit about your day. You can jump it all onto the TikTok app, and sometimes they can actually set up automatically, and they'll automatically find a song that actually matches everything. It takes only sometimes it takes a matter of seconds. You don't need to do any editing. They do it all for you. And then you just kind of release that pretty quickly. So I've done a few YouTube videos and stuff like that. Instagram, I do a lot of my stories. So if people want to know exactly what I'm doing during the day, Instagram is that platform that, I've got my daily stuff that's going on at that time. So TikTok's just a bit of the funny, weird kind of, just a bit of the joking side of things is what I do. The more serious stuff, well, not serious stuff, but like the more, serious stuff is more based on the YouTube and the Instagram platforms,
Okay.
and everything like that.
That's good. That's good to kind of give that perspective on how you might use one or both or all of them. But obviously the limit is the limiting factor your time. Like, is that if you had? I'm trying to think. What is the immediate goal for where you're at now?
My immediate goal for now is for just to find my way onto the platforms and everything like that. I'm being able to produce that consistently. I'm pretty consistent on TikTok and everything like that. I think it's like one every day I do. But I'm not consistent on other platforms, and I really want to harness that in. I think consistency is a really big, really valuable, and I think it's really important. So I really want to work on that, and just obviously work on creating friendships and being able to collab with people. That's also a really big thing that I would love to do as well. I think that's very important. That's
cool. You mentioned we started off with the car and the BMW and so on. So is that your only car, or do you have more?
I do have other a few other cars. Because right. Actually, today it's been raining, so I haven't been able to drive the wrapping paper. The car that's being wrapped in wrapping paper. There'll be a bit of a soggy mess. So. I've actually taken my 4-wheel-drive Triton today. That's actually worked. Also, there's been a few big, decent-sized puddles I've had to go through, so it's good having a 4-wheel drive that's going to be able to go through that. So we've had a little bit of flooding here as well, so that's pretty good. I've actually also got 2 AU Falcons that I'm actually working on at the moment. And so one's actually going to be a bit more orientated to the goal of drifting. But then one that a lot of my TikToks, my TikTok followers like, is the burnout car.
Ooh.
So
I feel like we're getting into it now. We've sort of been teasing people on, okay, this guy's a social media, he's working on things. We'll obviously reveal the channels and you can share all that stuff. But so is there a central theme going on? Like, you're actually either just, it's all in one. I feel the personality that you've got, but is there a theme around cars?
So it's a theme around pretty much modes of transport. I think cars is like a really big, like everybody's pretty much got one. Most people have one anyway. I think it's there's a lot you can do with them and stuff like that, and everything. So and also that's just the skills I have at the moment, and everything like that. So car related is like a big thing at the moment. But definitely have a lot of passions into all modes of transport, whether that be trucks, boats, jet skis. Jet skis is actually something I'm wanting to get into pretty soon, so like a stand-up jet ski and everything. That's pretty predominantly on cars at the moment.
What might be interesting for people is that obviously you're here in Australia. You born and raised here?
Yes, pretty much a purebred Gold Coaster. We did go around Australia for 2 years. Me and the family, which was very good. So I think that was like in 08, 09. I was about 9-10 years old when that was going around. So that was pretty good.
Wow. Are you talking about like living in different cities?
We did basically a figure of 8, so we climbed Ayers Rock and stuff like that. We did stay in Broome for a little bit. Did go to school there. Also went to school down in Denmark. It's a pretty small town. Probably not many people know about it. People think of it more as a country. There is a town called Denmark. It's just below Perth on the Western Australia side of Australia. And then we also have family up north in Innisfail, just below Cairns.
Yep.
And so we were there for a couple months and went to school there as well. So those were the main hotspots where we stayed for a bit. There was also just north of Perth as well. We stayed there for couple of weeks or something like that. Bit long there, but we were mainly on the road pretty much 24/7.
Okay, I hear the word nomad thrown around a bit. Was it a bit nomadic? Like you just, was it very structured? Like you went from one place, spent a bit of time, did something, and then, or was it just okay? We're ready to move on now, and then your family went somewhere else?
Yeah, well, originally what was planned when my parents came to me about it, they said it was like going to be like 9 months, year at most. And we went around and we just realized how much Australia has to offer, and just kind of like, you know what, let's actually stay at a few places. We can go to school, Dad can go to work, and we're going to extend this to 2 years. So that's what happened. So there's plenty of stuff. Like, I didn't realize how much stuff Australia had to offer. Yes, we got, like, you know, the Ayers Rock and things like that, but there's not just that here. There's plenty of stuff. So yeah, and plenty of unique situations where you're just isolated and you're hand feeding a yellow ring-tailed rock wallaby, which is what I did. And they're pretty endangered, and met one in the wild and hand feeding it, like lettuce and stuff like that, which was absolutely insane. So you just, those kinds of things, you know, you wouldn't get if you just rushed around for like 6 or 9 months. So yeah,
that's I'd say that definitely stands out. I've been here in Australia 10 years and I've met people, but not hearing stories like that where you're fully in the wild, or just at least in touch with the country's, you know, natural landscape and all that. But yeah, so obviously the theme of the podcast and the series is ambitions, and we purposely don't go after things like career or, you know, things that are a little bit more what you normally think of.
Yeah, the norm, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a lot more about where's everyone going? Like, is it happiness? Is that what people are after, or is it maybe the work-life balance, just to like just get that one step ahead or a little bit more comfort? You know, a lot of people are struggling and doing this and that and a bit of a grind, right? That's the classic rat race and all of that. But that's quite interesting. Do you think that your parents, was that a purposeful thing just to enjoy that moment with them? They obviously had a family, kids. And did you get a sense that that was the priority? Like they just wanted to give you that experience, or was it more for them?
I think it was like a all-in-one type thing. My dad had gone around the world and stuff like that beforehand. He's done his traveling. I think even for parents, it's also another experience, but I think a lot of it was to do it for us as kids, to experience that ourselves. And I know myself, I'm a very rare person to have experienced that, at least like when I was at school. None of my peers had ever really gone, at least to the other side, to Western Australia. So I was very grateful for my parents for giving me that experience, that's for sure.
Wow. Has that extended outside of Australia? Like, have you traveled anywhere else outside?
Yes, we have gone to New Zealand. We also did like a bit of an American trip where we went over to Hawaii and I think it's Puerto Vallarta or something like that, Mexico. You could probably let me know that, Scott.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. So I think, so there was that, and also Los Angeles. So we actually went to visit around California. So I went to the Grand Canyon in Nevada, I think it is. Las Vegas, all that kind of stuff. But we pretty much tripped around in a Dodge Durango, quick smart, for the 2 weeks, pretty much just trying to see everything that we could. So that was, that was pretty good. We actually got a free upgrade. We were trying to get in this, I think it was like this little Ford Focus or something like that, with all our luggage for the 6 weeks that we were going around America. And basically the company just said, you're not fitting everything in that. And so they kind of pretty much gave us a really cheap upgrade to a Dodge Durango, which apparently is a really good car. And I being in it, we were all pretty much comfortable in that car. It was pretty good. It was a really good tourer.
That's a good throwback. I'm not sure if they're still making them anymore, but I definitely driven a Dodge Durango in my day. Do they have them here in Australia?
No, I don't think I think some people may import them. But yeah, they're not for sale here. We do have basically the Dodge Ram, like I think it's like the 1500 and 2500 now. They're starting to actually make them all one right-hand drive and actually import them here and actually sell them. So no real big importing type fiasco. We actually have dealerships here now, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So, basically, and what age would you have been overseas?
So overseas there, well, New Zealand was when I was like very young. I was like in prep, so I was like 6 or something like that. We recently did go over there when I was like a bit through high school, and then did do the American trip just towards the end of my high school years as well.
Okay.
So so I haven't really been on the road for a little while, ever since pretty much I left school. So yeah, it's been a couple of years now. I think I left at 2016. It's now 2020. So
Fair enough. Did you see anything, I guess, in America, for example, that jumped out as like immediately culture shock? Again, our listeners will be likely overseas, looking to hear like the Australian perspective and what's life like there and who's this guy and so on. But you going over there, what's the reverse of that?
Yeah, I think what I see and what my eyeballs are out there kind of scanning and looking for is a lot more like transportation regarded, because that's what I love and that's my passion and stuff like that. So I naturally thought I saw just the difference in cars, like, very American type cars, and sometimes you see this big lifted truck. You don't see that here because it's illegal, simply illegal. All the crazy stuff that you can have on the road over there is kind of crazy. So so that was really cool. The food there, very different. As much as we do import some stuff from America, food wise and everything like that. Also, like the roads, incredibly. Like, I think I'm not sure if we're known for Australia to have very kind of bit rough roads here. But yeah, very, like, I know they're pretty wide and everything like that. Obviously in Los Angeles, I think there's a lot of times where, you're driving around, there's all these roads going everywhere. And it's just that you don't see here pretty much. And yeah, there's a lot of traffic there and stuff like that. I think we've been in traffic a few times in Los Angeles. But yeah, I think just a lot, like it was just supporting a whole lot more people. There's not many people here in Australia, so the mass amount of people there and what it does to the world is kind of crazy. And just you guys are just doing things just a whole lot more crazy and just next level, I feel like, sometime in some respects. So yeah.
Yep. Oh, and you're here on the Gold Coast for some years, and do you spot people from overseas? Is it easy to recognize when someone's in tourist mode? Because let's say Gold Coast is a tourist attraction, right? People come off the plane and they're in. Which part of the city do you live in? Are you?
Yeah, so I'm a bit like west northish from the Gold Coast, like Surfers Paradise, where all the actual main city is of the Gold Coast. Now, when I guess like I think I've been here for so long. I guess I'm just used to seeing those type of people, and the main areas where I live around, they're pretty much all local people anyway. I think, and maybe because of the year 2020, I actually haven't seen people come in from overseas for quite a while. So I think, I probably can't tell, but when you go in the outback and you take them out somewhere that's not city life, you can definitely tell.
So that's probably the experience they're after, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where we're looking to pull back the curtain a bit and say, okay, let's get some people on that, it's a bit of the everyday life, walks of life, everybody doing different things. And the Outback's, spectacular, and all the other natural beauty, Great Barrier Reef. So yeah, definitely check out all those, the spots, and tourism is super important. But I was just curious to see the balance, because I feel like you said, people come through and it's sort of either you just get used to it because people are in holiday mode, and you get these peak seasons where the population I'm guessing it seems to like almost double, people waiting at the theme parks, or depends where you're spending your time, I guess.
Yeah. I think it definitely does depend on where you're also spending your time. I guess like the places where I spend my time is pretty much very local. I don't really go into like shopping centers or anything like that. But when I do, like, say for instance, if I'm out surfing on the beach or whatever it is, you do get the occasional people that have like a strong accent, whether that be there's been a few people like from the English, like Britain and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, like, and stuff like that. And they're the ones I think that have a lot of ambition to actually go and experience Australia on the local side of things. So that's where I start to see those kinds of people. They're the ones that want to see the outback, want to go out and do those things like surfing every day, not just going to all the tourist attractions, which I don't normally hang out. So
yeah. I think the content creation side of things is super interesting because it's sort of would you say it defines you, like that it's who you are, and that it becomes about just revealing certain things publicly, and then do you still keep some things private, or is it just basically full on once you do it, you have to be able to, you should adopt a full public persona and just be ready to share everything? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess it's like I get feedback from people, and I think there's an importance in not overvaluing people's love for you and stuff like that, because I think if you overvalue that, when the haters come in, you can overvalue that then. So I think overvaluing the comments and stuff like that can really make you go on a emotional roller coaster. But in regards to content and the way if it's like, I really think it's, I really enjoy the process, and mainly when I finish it and I see the project up there and I'm like, this is really cool. My first vlog that I did was when I took my BMW Z4 around a racetrack, and I still go back to that day and I'm able to relive that experience. I think times are changing now where we're not getting out the photo album anymore. We're getting out the Instagram profile and we're scrolling down to relive our memories. So I think as much as photo albums are really cool, and obviously there was a time where we have photo albums when social media isn't around, but I think I really do enjoy the process of filming and seeing that end project up there and seeing how awesome that is. I don't know, I just enjoy the process of it, and I think that's really important. I think a lot of people can get caught up in the track of chasing fame. I think being famous is part of the job. If you're chasing fame, it's, some people, they're like, fame isn't, something like you try and reach. I think you just slowly step up more and more fame as you go. I think there's never a day where you decide I'm famous, if you know what I mean. I guess that's how I think. So I think if people constantly try and chase for that, they're not being truly who they are. And I think it's just produce the content you want to create, be unique about it, chuck your own twist in there, your little herbs and spices on there, and I think you'll do really well. That is, if you want to, produce content. That is, yeah.
Nice one. Yeah, I think that's kind of where a lot of people are at. They know of the success stories, and they also know some of the pitfalls, like the horror stories of, oh my God, like I don't even check the comments section anymore because, and that's, you can follow people that have found a way to manage it, the celebrities, or even the people that are more targets for things like that. I mean, would you say your content is going in a space that's controversial or going to provoke negative comments or anything like that? Are you doing things that are at risk, or does it just come with the territory? There's going to be haters no matter what.
Yeah, I think there's certain things that are going to create more haters than others. There's certain platforms where people are just like, I think our biggest person that is really known now on the YouTube platform is Mr. Beast. I think we pretty much all know him and his success, what's happening. And so I think he has a lot more on the lovers side and everything like that, just purely because he's giving money away. And there's not many people that would think to hate that. But I think no matter sometimes what you do, there's always going to be haters on about it, either that be because they're either jealous or whatever it is. But for somebody to go ahead and make like a hateful comment, I almost in some sense think about the position they're in. Like I feel like for the type of person that goes out there to make a hateful comment, I feel like they aren't happy themselves, and I kind of feel sorry that they're out there doing that. So I just wish that people just would not spread that kind of thing. But it also does center us to the people who are being successful in content creation. They're the ones that push through that. They're the ones that love it, and they're really ambitious towards it, and they come out of that, and they're really strong people. All your content creators out there. Just recently, like we're talking about the Christmas car, I think when you saw it, that same day, I went back to the car, and somebody had torn a piece off it. They've just gone ahead and grabbed a piece, and like some people said, was it by accident? Trolley come past or whatever. The car can go up to 110 k's, nothing ripping off and everything like that. And it was a part on the car which was just clearly that someone's just gone and ripped it. And not that he was specifically thinking that they hate the car. I think some people just do it for fun. And so there's sometimes these hateful comments, people are actually generally joking, or they think it's just for fun. They're not generally hating. So I think sometimes, we'll read a comment or something like that, and then we get the wrong idea as well. So, but just purely by that fact of, I've gone out and tried to make a few smiles in the world, trying to, make a few kids happy and stuff like that, seeing a car with Christmas wrapping paper all over it and stuff like that going down the street or whatever. And then somebody decides to go ahead and rip a piece off, which I was very lucky I was being able to find a bit of that wrapping paper in the bin, and being able to stitch that back up, thankfully. But so that was I think so. It's you can't really escape those kinds of people that are always going to, be a bit controversial and kind of, make it hard for you.
Yeah, right.
Content creation wise.
Geez, I guess it's almost like hard to believe that, because you do it and you think you're all in the positive world about, oh, this is going to be great. Everyone's going to be so pumped and like the friendly and the,
exactly.
And then it's like, really? Is that are there people out there really in that space? And like you said, it might've just been, in the moment, and they're just going to be a bit of a jerk about it. But just on the positive side of things. So like you've done it. Is there ways that you can use it in different ways? Like, I mean, I can imagine that would be quite a hot ticket item for someone to do, like a charity drive, or something where just it becomes bigger than you and it's the community thing. Yeah,
I actually have had a few people, even my neighbor. Like I went and got my old neighbor anyway. I went and saw my parents, and just driving back, I got a call from one of my neighbors that saw the car drive by. She's got a son that has struggles with certain things. I don't really know what it is, but I've also been reached out to by a lot of those type of people that want me to take their kid out for a drive and stuff like that, and they just get on top of the world by that. So I definitely do see that there's something, I guess this year especially, I've seen a bit of a glimpse of actually doing quite a bit in regards to actually giving back to some people and doing more for happiness rather than just driving in the street and people looking at it. So I think it's a bit hard this year being coronavirus, and you can't really just go and like meet people randomly and shake their hand. But I think in years to come, would definitely love to push that to be a bit more of a bigger thing. Yeah.
Very cool. So you mentioned it earlier. It's sort of the second year you've done this. Do you reckon this is going to continue in a sense that you become the guy that has the Christmas car every year, and you just celebrate that, or is this still in progress?
Yeah, I definitely do think that just by the smiles I get and stuff like that, I guess I just love to do that for people, and I think I think that would be something that I would like to be known for. I think it's pretty cool. It does take a lot of effort. It did take me a day to wrap it, and then a couple of hours for the lights, presents, and things like that. But yeah, I definitely do see that as being something that I want to do. But also doing other things with in regards to charity as well. So I'm also growing my hair for until like I'm about 25. and then kind of wanting to do a big kind of thing at that time, big event and stuff like that, and try and raise money for that certain time that I'm doing that event, and then by the end of that, with all that money raised, we'll give that over to breast cancer, as I have had a few people in my family go through breast cancer and stuff like that. So it's really important to me, I think.
That's super powerful to obviously you've got a feel for creating content and maybe the technical stuff and just getting it up easily, the TikToks in a way, but then there's this revisit to what can you use it for, and maybe like central to your, I guess, this what feels good, right? I mean, and what's maybe the right thing to do and what feels good, and how can you contribute, because obviously you got to juggle your time, and everyone I could imagine would want to support you, and then not only that, but you still have to channel their support. You know what I mean? So imagine you got 100 people lining up saying, "James, love your work. We all want to work with you." How would you manage that, do you reckon? Like, suppose you blow up. I mean, you've already got a lot going on, but if it really gets out of control, where you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we just got featured in this and that and the other thing." Everyone puts demands on your time. How would you deal with that?
In a sense, like I'm almost like not prepared for it. Like I really do just want to give my time as much to everybody as I can. So I will obviously, I really kind of don't know too much until I'm actually there, and I like to manage it. I think it's just, I like to just have certain rules in my life of just, whether that be delegating the things I don't like to do, getting somebody else to do that, give me more time to do the things I love. And if I get put in that position, I think I'll be really grateful for that, for one. Things like the editing side of things. So if I'm able to like have that certain success and actually turn my editing over to somebody else, I think that would be just one of the really good things that I would love to do. But yeah, if I blew up, I almost feel like I'm just doing the things I love right now, and I almost feel like I'm already successful in a sense, really. I have been spoken to a few times about, oh wow, you're so popular and stuff like that, and then you get in the frame of mind where, yes, I have 50,000 followers on TikTok and stuff like that, but sometimes you always constantly strive to get more. Sometimes you can get in the mind frame of it's never enough. I think it's really important to just be grateful for what you have at the time, and just produce the things that you love doing at the end of the day.
That's very very cool, and I think it'll be useful for people to just put things into context. And I think people do have ambition about, oh yeah, let's do it, and then but the goal isn't so clear. And then when you get the goal, you might feel some sense of, is that it? Yeah. Is there more, or where's the paycheck, or all this kind of stuff? And I think it's because it's all those things there's no school for that. You really have to absorb it from whatever's around you. And yeah, hopefully that this podcast is some of that, just getting people to share those little things that are just out there that you can learn from. And, in sense of what's next for you, it sounds like you're already reaching for the next level, not to stress yourself out or worry about it, but you're like, yeah, well, we could do this next, and then head in that direction. Is that where you're headed? Yeah,
exactly. My past does reflect like a pretty closed off type life. So I now am kind of just ready to come out and just really do the things I love doing, and just really concentrate on that. So I was Jehovah's Witness and stuff like that, and it really wasn't for me. Now other people that can be for them, but yeah, that really wasn't. And so I've just really kind of wanted to come out and just really do the things I love doing and everything. So is that where that was going?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just helpful to know overall, how do people navigate through things that either they've been sort of indoctrinated with. They've always been, it's like where you come from, where you live. And then it's like, well, do I need to live with this, or what can I change? There's lots of things. I mean, I can just relate to something where, I did make a choice to leave the country that I was born in. There's a lot of things that go along with that, and there's a bit of luck and a bit of timing and being able to do it, and where do you go, and do you go back? And but in your case, yeah, you would have had, I imagine there'd be sort of limiting beliefs and lots of things you do or you can't do, or who you can associate with. So so you basically had to make the call, turn the page, and then just kind of form your life in a way that you're in control of. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think I don't want to go too in depth because it could open a big can of worms and stuff like that. But I think it's you can, especially that I grew up with that whole lifestyle, and I think a lot of people, like, their life almost starts after school sometimes, like they're with their parents and they grew up in a certain lifestyle, and then that whole growth process, it's, I think sometimes we need to almost sometimes listen to ourselves in actually, whatever our body's actually compelling us to go ahead and do. I think we should, while we're at that young state, go ahead and try those things and find out if that is actually something we really want to do, and go ahead and try. And I think that's very important. And as well as sometimes we can be taught certain things from our past, and then that can come up and bite us as well. So I think it's really important to be open-minded, think outside the box as well, and just really do the things that you really are compelled to go ahead and do. Yeah.
I mean, to hear you say that at only 22, roughly.
Yeah, I'm 22. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, and maybe that's a generational thing where that is a common mindset. Like, if there's people that are of a certain life stage, we also like to say that, people, if you're later on in life too, it's just maybe have a fresh think about what's going on. How are you spending your day, and how much joy is there? And we really try to avoid cliches or anything like that, but sometimes the struggle can help. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Do you feel?
Yeah. No, I definitely do feel that. Yeah, sometimes the struggle does. Go. I'm sick of this. I'm gonna really push through and really do this thing. I definitely do think any walks of life, whether if you're 9 years old or if you're 80 years old, I think it's worth to still try it and do the things that your body is being compelled to do. I think it's incredibly powerful for, and overall happiness wise as well. I think you're going to be way more happier, stepping outside your comfort zone, so to speak. I think it can be quite daunting and stuff like that, especially if you've grown up your whole life, 60 years old, being in your comfort zone and stuff like that, and then like now kind of realizing I haven't done all these things my whole life, and but I don't want to step outside my comfort zone and stuff like that. In my line of work that I do, get a few people a bit old of age and stuff like that, had a bit of like that. They were very controlled lives and safe and everything like that, and now they're just doing what they want. I think there's one guy that's like 80 years old. He's still he's doing windsurfing, like just because he wanted to, and I just think that's just so empowering. Cool. to see. So I think it really at any age it matters to go after what makes you happy. Yeah, nice.
Well, I think there's definitely a great intro into content creation, and just touching on some of the points around, how do you get, I feel like you're definitely beyond, the starting phase. You're sort of in the I basically made it phase, in a sense of all that effort getting to you got a measurable goal, right?
The realization. Yeah.
And maybe just, so that's that. You've celebrated it yourself, which I think is an important
Yeah, I think it was like, I was like 19 and a half when I really got like a big realization. And yeah, I was just like, this is actually, I'm not happy here. I was working as a tradesman. And as much as I love electrical cables and fiddling around with those certain things. I just didn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. And I just really, really wanted to, do something different. And my whole family background, they're pretty much all tradesmen. So that was the only thing I thought of. And so this kind of goes back into the whole thing of thinking outside the box and thinking about something unique, something that, just like opening your horizons, basically, not thinking very narrow-minded, and just kind of bit like, not doing the norm, so to speak. I really felt like there was a bit of a unique purpose for me to go ahead and try. And by all means, some people may not be for them. They may like to just work the normal job, come home, and then and go back to work the next day. That's all for them. That's okay. But for me, I'm a little bit different. So
actually, that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that because, it's easy for just to say, okay, think about your happiness and what are the ambitions behind the scenes, and like basically what are you working on? It might be building a hobby car, or it might be jet skiing on the weekends, and like all that stuff is good. And there definitely can be contentment in work not being a priority. So I definitely want to make that clear that I think it's, as long as you've getting the vibe, like you've got some happiness that's all kind of working. No need to upset the apple cart. Like sometimes a challenge or a little bit of stress can make you experience life in a different way. I think those are the kind of things that we're testing the waters with to see, what's a healthy amount of stress.
Exactly right. I think, there's definitely a midway point. It's not going, full hero and trying to do something so drastic that really actually, sets you up for pretty much like failure for the rest of your life. Like if you go and do something, really drastic, so to speak, I can't really make up anything in my mind. Maybe like get a big massive loan for something that you can't afford to try and start that investing in real estate business or whatever it is and stuff like that because you saw somebody on TV do it. So I think start off something probably with a bit of low risk and just try stuff. If you're not really feeling like what you like you're feeling a bit incomplete and you actually don't know what you like, just being safe about it and not going too drastic. As I think there's some people out there that just tell you to do these kind of crazy things, and I do think there's a certain amount of safety we need as well involved in that.
No, that's been good. It's been really fresh take on things. And if you can imagine, people may be curious about what it's like to be a content creator in Australia, versus living in the TikTok mansion somewhere.
I think
in the US. And
I think in the TikTok world, Hype House is a really big thing. I think they call it the Hype House anyway. Oh, there's a few other TikTok ones. I think there's a Honey House or whatever. But in Australia, really, I think because there's not really like a wide range of people here, and in the TikTok industry that I'm in, I'm predominantly around the whole car community. Now, a lot of that can involve a lot of people to more care about your car rather than the person who you are. So then, therefore, you don't really have a lot of people collaborating in the car community, which I'm really out there to almost try and change a bit as well. I would love to make steps in the future to somehow bring people together. As much as there's car meets like that, there's a lot of car meets that happen. People kind of come together almost to see the cars, not really to see the people behind the car, And I think that's something that obviously there's people like myself that I go there to see the people behind the wheel. I think that's a lot more important, and I really want to try and change people's mindsets and all that, or at least encourage that behavior and actually pull them out on it. That let's actually think about the person behind the wheel more than the car that's been built. So sometimes I'll create a great friendship from somebody in this Hyundai that likes their car so much, but the man in his I don't know, Lamborghini or whatever it is, he's not a nice person. Yet I follow the guy in the Hyundai on Instagram, not the Lamborghini dude, because I'm interested in him as a person. So,
well, that's super interesting. I think the pronunciation of Hyundai will be interesting for people. Is that the Aussie way to say it?
I think, Hyundai. Yeah, I think that's how we say it, Hyundai.
Right. I think we've done pretty well to capture your Australian accent.
Is that how you do it? Hyundai?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Your reputation's on the line with that one, is
we do have some interest in automotive. We've got a Jeep build going on, so Jeep's easy to say.
Yeah,
it's international.
Cool.
No, super great to see, and we'll obviously be interested to see how things evolve. 1 year from now, even over the next couple of months as things start to go. We're obviously interested in fresh perspectives, and I'm just giving a little flavor of what life's like here, just so people might get some inspiration from it. So lots of different topics. So you got automotive, you got a bit of the freestyle, just living life, being with. I feel like it's just there's an element of being a good role model, which I don't know. I don't want to call it out for that, but it's being the good citizen and just kind of like doing awesome things.
Yeah. I think you touched on a really big point out there. It's kind of rung a big bell in my head just then. Is actually being able to go out there and have fun without being an absolute going illegal and doing something wrong or anything like that. I think really a lot of people my age could want to either do skids and drifts out and just terrorize the neighborhood and stuff like that, especially for one that likes cars. And I guess I want to prove to people that, you can go out there, you can have fun and enjoy a lot of elements of life within the rules and regulations that we have in whatever country you have, predominantly Australia, obviously. That's where I live. So, and in Australia, we have quite strict rules here on what we can do, especially car-wise as well. Yeah.
That's and then in terms of who you follow and where you get inspiration from, I know a couple automotive people that are pretty big with covering car reviews and all sorts of stuff. Is there anything that you'd recommend, or what do you follow in terms of the big? The top three. What
I really like is I mean I'll be honest, I really am at the point now where I don't actually consume much content. And I think that is I'll just briefly say there, I think when you're out there and being a content creator, sometimes it can be really good for you to actually not look at much stuff. Obviously look at people and stuff like that, because I feel like if you're looking at them too much, you're going ahead and going to copy sometimes. I think it's important to just resemble within yourself and actually create stuff that you want to create. What I do like is the people that don't do much terrorizing of the neighborhood, encouragement and stuff like that. Aussie blokes, Telva, Marty and Moog, the guys at Marty Car Mods. They're awesome and stuff like that. I think plenty of the people know Woody and Turbo Yoda as well. They're over at the Sunshine Coast. They're pretty close here on the Gold Coast. I've actually met Woody. He's really good bloke. And just these people come from all walks of life, and they're really genuine people. And I think, I really see myself as being that kind of person, of just somebody that's not into doing really crazy type stuff, but really being like a general good human being, encouraging good behavior as well. And, I think, at least growing up, there is still that conception of young people where it's a lot of my peers, it's I'm not going to go out and do skids. Oh, that's boring. James is boring, doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything fun. And, I want to prove people wrong in that. So
nice one. You put it out there. That's the mission. And, I think we definitely want to see the evolution, and just I like the balance that you've got. So I think it's a good thing for people to hear and take some inspiration from. So super appreciate your time, James.
No worries.
Do you want to just let us know how we can find you, follow you?
You can find me on Instagram, James_Longstaff, _, and also on TikTok, James_Longstaff, no double underscores. So that's pretty much it. So that's the TikToks there, but pretty much I'm pretty sure I'm trying to make the name James Longstaff out there enough where people can almost just search up James Longstaff, and then I should be one of the top people up there. I think even on Google you can search up James Longstaff. I think I come up there on the YouTube links and TikTok So that's pretty exciting already. I'm already on the first page of Google, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you search my name.
I think that's a clever way to do it. So everybody listening on the audio,
Yep.
go for the Google search, and we'll get some links out there as well to get going. So really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming back. We'd love to have you back anytime.
No worries. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and it's been a really great experience.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been good.
All
Thank
right,
you.
guys.